Alright, for this little screencast, I'm actually going to throw down a challenge in front of the developers at Desire2Learn, and really at any of the virtual learning environments, be it Blackboard, Angel, Moodle, or anybody else you can think of. I've got a little challenge here on Web 2.0ifying your virtual learning environments a little bit. I do lots of presentations where I talk about using Web 2.0 tools inside the virtual learning environment, and so I'm going to jump right into just a little section of that where we're using Zoho tools inside D2L. Now, I've already done a screencast on part of this, so I'm going to kind of skip over and get right to the meat of it. When I'm doing the presentations, I talk about the different tools that are available at Zoho, and I start off with Zoho Writer, which is the word processing tool at Zoho that allows you to, these documents live on the web, you can share them, you can embed them, you can do things like that. And so here was an example, again, something I have shown before, of what's actually a live document here below the line of the collaborative document, where as students would continue to edit that document, the changes would show up right here in D2L because you're actually seeing the live document down below the line. I just embedded it there. But what I want to show you next is what I think is really what I sure hope at least is the future. It is the challenge that I'm laying down here. Now, first of all, I've just put the Zoho login screen here, so I'm going to go ahead and log into my Zoho account inside Desire2Learn. And that opens the Zoho Writer interface where I have all of the editing tools. I have all of my documents over here. All I have to do is click on a document. The document loads. I can start editing. I can do whatever it is I'm going to do to this particular document. And so now we have a very different situation than what we have in the normal case. In the normal case, if a student wants to edit a document of theirs, they've got to go, even though it's on the computer, they have to leave the virtual learning environment, basically open some other application, do their work, save the document, come back into the virtual learning environment, upload the document, blah blah blah. Alright, well, it just doesn't seem like that's necessary anymore. So here, by just embedding the Zoho Writer, I have access to my documents, I have access to the editing tools, I can do all my work right here. It would make it real easy to upload to the Dropbox. In fact, I'm not so sure you'd even need a Dropbox with functionality like this. You just have your documents, you make available or not available, you share, you don't share, share with your instructor, share with your students, all kinds of things like that. I can come up with lots of possibilities for that. But the other this just really begs the question for me. When all of these virtual learning environments were designed, somebody made decisions that said, all right, we're going to give faculty and course designers, people with high enough rights, we're going to give them access to editing tools. And then students don't get access to editing tools. And I'm not exactly sure I understand why that would be. Why would we not let students work on their documents and that sort of thing inside the virtual learning environment, but you do let faculty, etc., access their documents and edit them and the like? It just doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to me, especially not in 2008 in the Web 2.0 world in which we live, where a lot of this stuff is much, much easier than it was a few years ago. So that's Zoho Writer. I'll just show you one more example. I always use this example of embedding a live spreadsheet into Desire2Learn. So this is a spreadsheet that you can change right here. You would have to go to this Zoho if you were going to really make changes to that spreadsheet. I can change it on screen here, but it's not changing the original document. So the next person who comes here is going to see the original document unless I log into Zoho, or unless I have Zoho embedded right here in Desire2Learn. So here is the Zoho Sheet interface. And so now I could access that exact same project, for example. So here's the project that was on the previous page, and now if I make a change to this document and save that change, now I have, where's my save button? Now I have actually altered the document, not just the embedded little spreadsheet on the previous page. And so again, I can access all the different documents. I already saved that, but I'll do it again just to make it feel better. But I have access to all my different spreadsheets. I can work on them inside the virtual learning environment, which is where I'm trying to do most of the rest of my work as well. So there's both a question and a challenge. The question is, why don't students get allowed to why aren't they allowed to use editing tools inside the virtual learning environment? And the second question is, very much like the first, is why don't we build that rather than have to embed tools like this. You can access your Zoho documents in your Facebook account. So it looks like Facebook is becoming more of a learning environment than our virtual learning environments is. I guess would be the proper term there. Stuttering here a little bit at the end, so I think I better just quit. But I hope you get the point that I was trying to make about bringing some of these tools to the students inside the virtual learning environment. And that's it for now. I'll talk at you next time. A little better, I hope, next time.